Wait, did I just hear that right? Play that back. Something's wrong here. What is it? Just give me a moment. Aha! Now that's the ticket. But why was it wrong? And I don't mean it just being from a different franchise, but why did it feel wrong? What are these languages that seem to be popping up everywhere? Where did they come from? Why are there so many? Can anyone make one? What's a schwa? Well, it's you know. Whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. In this video, and accompanying worksheet, I want to talk about the history of constructed languages in film, and why so many are popping up now. The year is 1888. 2 years ago, the International Phonetics Association was made in Paris, and the fruits of its labor are about to reveal themselves. The International Phonetic Alphabet, a list of phonetics used in several languages, and they continued adding and adding to it, even into the modern day, until every recognized language could be read with it. And hey, it's not perfect, but you know, it works. And allows for Good Samaritans to attempt a quest for a universal language, some of which almost didn't fail. But you know what? All this altruism? Frankly, it's for nerds. We're here for art, dang nabbit. So let's fast forward to the least nerdy thing I could possibly think of, Star Trek. Because here, in the series' first motion picture, history is about to be made. I'm sorry, what? It appears I've been mistaken. Sorry for betraying your guys' trust. James Doohan, the guy right there, he was straight up making that up. Don't be too harsh on a guy. That was just the norm at the time, and for quite a while after, too. The first actual Conlang film was Vulcan for the second movie, with producer and linguist Mark Orkland making Klingon for the third film, standing on its own as a comprehensive language. At the time, it was believed that language had a fairly significant effect on culture, instead of the other way around, which is what's currently believed. For this reason, Klingon was built with an extremely unnatural phonology, and a lexicon filled with violent phrasing, where even hello is framed as standoffish. This would come to be ironic, as Klingon is now one of the most popular Conlangs in the world, right next to the closest attempt at a universal language, Esperanto. Now here's the big one, the one that even if you've never heard the word phonetics, you know. And while the Lord of the Rings books did have a lot to start with, Tolkien being super into linguistics, David Salo had his work cut out for him, as he had to expand about 4 languages into being usable for the movie. But the results speak for themselves, and the series arguably brought fantasy and conlangs into the mainstream.
Friend. And enter. What's the Elvish word for friend?
And it wasn't alone. The same year that Lord of the Rings would win an Oscar, another film would plant the roots of constructed language, but not in the way you'd think.
Me interficerete volunt. Cur, quid fecisti? Rexes tu?
Regnum meum non est hoc mundo.
And while not strictly an artificial language, the Passion of Christ's use of dead old Abrahamic performed essentially the same task, improving an artistic merit for having a completely dead language for the entirety of your film. And that's not even as far as one can push it. Occasionally, stories set in times long past will try to reconstruct what proto-languages of the time may have sounded like. A more recent example was Alpha, with its proto-language made by Christine Stryer. So, the stage was set for a rise in constructed languages taking a more prominent role in fiction film, with works like Avatar bringing even more attention to the fray. But to get to the overload we have now, we needed something big. Something that even your Uncle Brad, who still goes to college barbecues, would sit down to watch. Something prime time. Do you guys hear something? Game of Thrones, well, nowadays best remembered for its whimper of a finale, started out with an absolute menagerie of world building, including 4 languages and several others planned for the future. So, in order to make that happen, HBO went to the Language Creation Society and ran a contest to see who might be able to take up the job, with linguist and casual Conlang creator David Peterson winning the spot. And the rest was history. His work was so good, he became the poster boy of constructed languages, going on to create some 40-odd Conlangs for film and TV. And after Game of Thrones, the Artling world exploded. Now constructed languages are so common, you'd have to try to find a genre fiction that doesn't have a Conlang attached to it. But now we're back to the same question. What's the purpose? Why do films need to get all this extra effort for what could potentially be 5 lines? Well, the answer is twofold. 1, it keeps you consistent.
Maybe not take us con grau.
Also con gera?
You can't have one actor thinking Farfig is hello and another think that it's floglag. These continuity issues only pile up the more you use it too. If you're working on a 5-season TV show, you're entrusting that your actors are going to remember everything they've said for the past 5 years and even potentially beyond. At least having a conlang at the start allows your actors to have something to fall back on, and for you to be able to build up when you need it. The second reason is the audience. These days, audience members are way more clued into what feels realistic and care just that extra little bit about being immersed. So if your world's lexicon doesn't add up to snuff, they can tell. I think David Peterson said it best. If you have some place names, you don't need a whole language. But if you've got so much as one whole clause, you need a whole language.